Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And everybody who texted me and commented. And I just so appreciate you. Um, because I have no idea. I was just talking for like 20 minutes, just happy in my own little world, wondering what was going on. So um, wonderful, 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 wonderful. Okay. So I'm going to, for me, pull up and make sure that I can see your comments. So let me hop into our group. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, we're here. Let's just get started. Oh my goodness. I apologize that you can't see my face. Now we have sound, but we don't have video. So just laugh along with me. That's just part of life, right? What are we going to do? Okay. So, hi. You can't see me, but I'm Dr. Alison Goggin. I am a functional medicine physician with Little Black Bag Functional Medicine. And today we're talking about mindful eating. We're going to go through our masterclass. I already started posting some questions and thoughts for you so you can really analyze how you have a relationship with food and how you want to approach mindful eating. So if you would like to comment, why are you here today? And really this month, what are you looking to get out of this presentation? I would love to know. And that way I can really cater our content to you this month. All right. So today we're going to do a quick introduction into mindful eating. We're going to do a little bit of a nutrition lesson. Sadly, because we are not live in person like I would normally do this, we're not going to do any recipe demonstration or sampling, but we can make our own lunch and feel good doing that, okay? And then if you have any questions, answers, just let me know. So our objectives today are to identify the principles of mindful eating, learn about the difference between mindful and mindless eating, identify behaviors that support ourselves being mindful, learn the 7 strategies, and understand the importance of cooking and connecting with food. So, how many food decisions do you make in each day? And this is something we don't often think about, but really it is overwhelming. And this is why a lot of people who start any kind of program just stop so quickly because it does become overwhelming. So, if you think about it, people make more than 200 decisions per day about the food they eat, which is a lot, right? So, breakfast alone has 20 to 30 choices itself. So, if you have eggs with fruit, toast, and coffee, just with eggs, how many? How are they being prepared? Is there oil in the pan? Are you using butter? Is it whole eggs or just the whites? Are there seasoning, salts? Are you adding anything like cheese or veggies or condiments? What about fruit? What kind? How much? Are you adding anything? Are you using fresh or canned or frozen? What about toast? What kind of bread? Did you add anything to the toast like butter or jelly or peanut butter? How much of each? How many slices? What about coffee? Caffeinated, decaf? What about cream, milk, dairy free, flavored cream or sugar? What type of sugar? How much of each? How many cups are you going to have? And what about what time will you eat? Where will you eat? Will you read or watch TV? How much time do you have to eat? Should you take your meal to go? So there's so much to think about um, when you're just considering breakfast, right? And it's just an example of how difficult implementing mindful eating can be. And the question we have going into it is this worth it? So research has shown that being more attentive to your food choices, sustainable healthy weight maintenance can be achieved without counting calories. And that's fantastic because that takes up a ton of time and brain space. And we want to use that for living our best life, not counting calories and worrying about exactly what we need to eat. So, the core principles of mindful eating. Unlike sleeping and breathing, eating requires some deliberate engagement on our part. We need to make decisions on what we gather, what we shop for, and what we select. So, our principles are being aware of the nourishment available through the process of food preparation, select enjoyable and nutritious foods, acknowledging food preferences non judgmentally, recognize and honor physical, hunger, and satiety cues, and using wisdom to guide our eating decisions. So, this is our mindful eating cycle. And for most people, we eat for reasons other than feeling hungry. So, the first question is, Why do I eat? So we talk about things like physical hunger, of course, but what about stress? What about emotions? What about physical cues from fatigue or boredom? When do I want to eat? Are you eating based off of the clock? Are you eating because of physical hunger? Are you eating because of emotions? Or is it just the time of day that you always grab a snack at 3 o'clock, right? What do you eat? So, factors to consider when choosing foods such as convenience, taste, comfort, and nutrition. How do I eat? Does being plugged into technology interrupt eating times, or are you eating on the go? How much do you eat? Are you deciding based off of fullness cues, package size, serving size, peer influence, or habit? And where does the energy go? Eating may be invigorating. It might make you feel tired. It might lead to guilt and shame. How is the energy used during work or play? So, mindless eating is something I think we're all kind of familiar with. We're definitely leading distracted lives right now. Some other reasons is that food is everywhere all the time. It's always convenient. It's so easy to always grab a snack on the go. It's automatic. We don't check in with our hunger cues. We tend to like sit down in bed or on the couch at night and eat. We're consuming content through the television and we're consuming food at the same time. A lot of us struggle with emotional eating. And then there's a lack of planning, a lack of knowledge. And what kind of foods do you have in your environment? If you're shopping for your kids, it might be easier to grab their cereal or their fruit snack instead of thinking about what you need in that moment. All right. And then mindless eating is looking at the environmental cues and triggers around eating. So, eating on the run, like in the car, eating while distracted on the TV, on the phone, computer, eating from large plates or buffet style is another trigger for us. And also, alcohol consumption in eating. So, mindful eating concept involves making adjustments to avoid these triggers that may compel you to eat unhealthy foods, eat too much or both, or too little as well, right? So, if you can, think of some strategies that would help you avoid the triggers above and overcome the barriers to being a mindful eater. So, one of the things that I like to do is focus on everybody sitting down at the table together, no phones, no TV. So, we're focused on our food, we're focused on each other. I often recommend like eating off of a plate, not out of a bag. So if you have some chips or some pretzels or something that you like to enjoy, or say it's ice cream, instead of eating from the whole tub of ice cream, portion it out so that way you can be really mindful about it. And sometimes eating from smaller plates is really helpful. And of course, stocking your environment with healthier choices and avoid food shopping when you're hungry. That's a big one, right? So finding balance is creating sustaining healthy eating habits when we find this balance. So are you on the side of always deny? Does it work long term? So what if you say I'm not going to eat that cookie 3 times? What is going to happen? You're probably going to eat the cookie, right? So it's time to figure out to indulge when it's appropriate or redirecting it to another choice, because denial sometimes is a trigger to eat more either in that moment or later. And then on the other side, if you're always indulging, what are the results? So ask yourself, do I really want this and is it worth it? So for example, a box cookies versus homemade. And if you feel like, yes, I want to eat this right now, then indulge, enjoy it and savor it. Another tool that we look at in this freedom is redirecting, which is a great way to find a different way to indulge in a healthier choice, like strawberries dipped in yogurt with chocolate chips versus a bowl of ice cream. It'll take longer to prepare and eat, but you'll enjoy it more and you'll feel better after you eat it. And reflecting on the choices this way takes time. So practice every day. Another trick that one of my friends taught me a long time ago was that if she really wants something either sugary or she's craving fast food, she would have an apple or a piece of fruit or a vegetable. And then after she ate that, she would say, well, am I still interested in going out and getting the soda or my French fries or this piece of chocolate? And if the answer was yes, then she would go ahead and do it. And if the answer was no, because she fulfilled her hunger, then she didn't. So I thought that was a great way to like redirect, really see if this is an emotional way that you want to eat or is an actual physical hunger that you need to eat. So we want to focus on the hunger scale. So ideally, you want to fall between the 4 and 6 zone. And this is something sometimes I have people print out because they tend to fall in on either side, especially with the restricting. People tend to fall into the 1 and 2 range where they're hangry, they're angry, they're so hungry, they're weak and dizzy. They forget to eat breakfast and lunch. And by the time they get to dinner, they binge and then they push themselves really far fast into the level of 10. They're so sick from eating so much. So you want to feel hungry. That's a good thing. And then you don't want to make yourself sick with how hungry you are. You don't want to be denying yourself. And then when you are completed eating, you want to feel slightly full or like pleasantly full, not like turkey Thanksgiving dinner, like 8, 9, 10 range, right? We want to be somewhere in that middle where we're not causing pain to our physical body or our emotional body. Okay. So, what does a zero feel like physically when you're extremely hungry? So, for you, it might feel like headaches, it might feel like irritability. A lot of people tell me they feel shaky and angry. And then, what does a 10 feel like when you're as full as you can imagine? A lot of people say nauseous, bloated, swollen. Sometimes they feel really very tired and need to go take a nap. And sometimes it's accompanied with like shame and guilt. And we just feel so bad that we ate the way that we ate. And then where are you now, right now, on a scale of 0 to 10? What do you notice about your body and the thought that made you choose that number? Okay. So, why is behavior change so hard, right? Like, I think a lot of us will feel this way of I wish I was the person I was 2 days ago when I went grocery shopping for all this great food, and now all I can think about is eating that hamburger, right? So we have to understand our behavior before changing it. So if you're craving sugar all the time, or why are you eating processed food all the time? Trying to go cold turkey and stop those behaviors without understanding why they are happening in the first place is probably one of the biggest mistakes people make. So we want to explore the reasons that we make our decisions. So if you're eating processed food all the time, you want to ask yourself, why? Is it something that's in your environment where there's just all of this type of food all around? Is it social pressure? So maybe you're at work and everyone's like, hey, I'm grabbing McDonald's. What do you want? Hey, we're going to Chick-fil-A. What do you want? And if you say no, maybe you get some attitude about it. Like, oh, you're eating healthy now. Oh, look at you. You're so much better than us. And it's so much pressure on us because we don't want to make others feel bad about their choices, but we also want to make good choices for ourselves. Is it about preparedness? Maybe all your food's in the freezer and you forgot to take it out and you weren't ready for the week. Or is it even taste, right? A lot of us just go for the things that we grew up with. It's comforting, it feels good, it tastes good. And then the last thing I would add into that is maybe you didn't know. Maybe you didn't know that the foods that you're eating are making you sick or causing you to feel uncomfortable, giving you headaches or breaking your skin out. And you're just eating what you know to eat, and you don't realize that there's an effect on your physical health. Another question I would ask is if you're eating late at night, would be why? Are you bored? Are you trying to distract yourself? Are you actually hungry where you're getting up too late in the morning and your whole eating cycle is pushed back? Um, there's so many reasons. So just simply acknowledging the reasons of why you engage in mindless eating is the first step to becoming more mindful. So, with the hunger scale, this is where we start. We want to check in before we eat, whether you're eating a full meal or even just grabbing a snack. So, again, remember, we want to avoid those red zones. We want to stay in that middle ground, that 4, 5, 6 area. And then our kit number 2 is understanding hunger and satiety. So, satiety is that feeling of fullness. Okay. So, understanding the mechanisms of hunger can help you manage behavior. So, ghrelin is the hormone produced by the stomach and intestinal cells. It's a hunger hormone released to drive eating. Leptin is a hormone produced by fat cells. It's actually an appetite suppressant. It's released to send signals to the brain to say, I'm done. Leptin resistance is caused by consistently high levels of this hormone going through your blood. It's really common in those who are overweight because the body produces a lot of leptin but is unable to use it. Leptin resistance does not have to be a permanent state. So if you've ever been diagnosed with that or think that this is part of your issue, you don't have to feel like it's a curse or you're stuck there forever. You can alter these things with your food. And then CCK, cholecystokinin hormone, is this another satiety hormone released when the stomach stretches. So our body has these really cool cues to signal to our brain based off if we're full, how much our stomach is stressed, how much food is in our intestines. And curbing overeating may involve shifting your mindset from eating until you're full to eating until you've just had enough. And just enough means that you've eaten the right amount to support your hunger for about 4 hours. The more practice you have paying attention to your body's signals, the easier it will be to listen and distinguish between your real needs. I'll stop right here in my notes and say that a lot of kids growing up with multiple siblings, there seems to always be a race for food, right? So as an adult, you're still stuck in that race for food. So I see this in my husband where he races to finish and races to make sure he gets enough food. And even though he's not in that situation now, it's just still something that's programmed. And I always have to be like, holy cow, you need to slow down. And over the past month or two, he's really taken this in and slowed down in how much he's eaten. And he's shocked at how less he eats now because slowing down allows his stomach to stretch more slowly, allows to help him feel more full with his dinner. So instead of housing his whole breakfast, lunch, or dinner as fast as he can and then not feeling good afterwards or feeling hungry still, he's slowed down and allowed these hormones to balance. And it's really, really cool. So sugar is a taste specific satiety. So have you ever finished a large meal and exclaimed, I just can't eat another bite, only to say yes to dessert? If so, you might be one of my kids. This is known as taste specific satiety. You've had too much savory, but somehow have room for dessert. Plan ahead, especially if you are dining out. Look at desserts and know if there is something you would like to enjoy. Plan what you will eat before so the dessert will top your hunger cue and not force you to reach 10. A lot of people I know, especially if they go out to eat, will ask for a box right away and take half of their meal, put it in the box, and bring half of it home. So that way they don't overeat at the restaurant and make themselves sick. And sometimes they have room left over for dessert so they can enjoy that experience of being out. Another thing that we need to focus on is artificial sweeteners. These are tricky because everything about that beverage says sugar to your brain, but there's no energy coming in or calories coming in to satisfy. So it can throw off your hunger cues, and that normal pathway to feeling full might be interrupted. So if you're a Diet Coke person or really any kind of soda or tea person, these artificial sweeteners in there might be messing up your hunger cues. Okay. Number 3, tracking hunger, fullness, emotions, and perceived healthiness can help you understand mindfulness. So, writing in a journal or using an app to track results and noticing eating patterns. A lot of people like to do like bullet journaling. On Pinterest, there's this whole like mood and mind and bullet journaling where you color in different colors based off of the day or the time of the day. So that's a great way to see how are you feeling? Is there a pattern throughout the day or the month that you might experience? Every time you do eat, even if it's a meal or a snack, do a quick evaluation using the hunger fullness scale before you eat. Record your physical sensations and hunger fullness rating in your journal. So, meaning if you have a headache, if you're tired, if your belly hurts, do you have anxiety? Are you angry? Are you starving? Where are you in that hunger scale? And then during the meal, check in with your hunger scale and jot down any notes. And then reevaluate after you eat your meal and record your hunger fullness rating. And I would recommend doing this just for 3 days, just to try and notice patterns. So, do you tend to wait too long to start eating? Are you getting into that 1 and 2 range? Do you eat quickly and realize that you overate past the happy zone of the hunger scale? And there's no right or wrong. Like, this is just an experience of trying to understand who you are with food, your relationship to food, your emotions, your hunger, all of those things. So, number 4, slow down. I talk about this often, but the majority of the population eats very, very quickly. Research shows that North Americans spend only 11 minutes eating lunch at a fast food restaurant and 18 minutes at a cafeteria in the workplace. So, my question would be, why do you want to slow down, right? A lot of times we're in a rush at work, or we're trying to get the kids off to the next thing, or we wake up late is really, really common. And it's important to slow our bodies down for a lot of reasons. So, one, we get satisfaction from chewing, which is why we like food with various textures. Chewing food not only enhances the experience of changing textures and flavors, but it helps us get us more nutrition from what we eat. There are enzymes in the saliva that begin to break down food before we even swallow it. So, this also helps our nervous system become in a calm state. So, we switch from stress, which is our sympathetics, into our parasympathetics, which is our wine and dine. So, when we're stressed, we actually shut down digestion, which is why if you're eating at your desk, or you're eating when you're stressed out, or you're eating on the go, your body is not going to fully digest. You might get acid reflux or IBS or bloating or nausea when you eat, and you might not even realize how stressed out you are while you're eating. So, some tricks, some tips to slow down would be to look at your food, smell it, notice the different colors, chew 15 to 30 times before swallowing. Really notice that texture of the food that you're eating, and put your fork down between bites. All right, number 5, hitting the pause button, right? So we want to give yourself a 30 to 60-second pause before making a decision, because this helps you really recognize the triggers. Are you emotional? Are you just feeling stressed? Are you actually hungry? So take a deep breath to compose your thoughts and bring yourself into the present moment, and just simply observe the thoughts that pass through your mind. And now you're ready to act mindfully. I think about this a lot with phones, where you set your phone down, or and you pick it up because you wanted to check the calendar, and all of a sudden you're on social media and 30 minutes goes by and you're like, how did I even get here? Wait, what was I even doing with my phone? The same thing happens when we walk into the pantry or open that fridge door. We're like, hey, I just need to get out dinner for tonight. And then all of a sudden you're snacking on something, and you have containers open and you're just eating and eating, and you forgot to take out dinner. So giving yourself that pause might help you really just evaluate of what are you doing and stay focused, and help your memory too, so you remember while you're in there. I don't like the idea of putting like that big red stop sign on your fridge or your pantry. We don't want to stop eating. We want to take a break or put a pause button. So maybe a pause button, or put the hunger scale, print that out and put that on your fridge. That might be a way to help you really check in. So recognize stress eating, because this is one of the probably the most common thing that I talk about with my patients. So the first step is to recognize it, because then you can address it. So exercise, so fitness, you can work with a trainer, you can work at home. Exercising frequently is important, but you don't have to necessarily work out intensely. The goal is not to end up working yourself into fatigue and needing a nap every single day. But exercise helps support the nervous system and the digestive system and manage stress. So, eating smart is about avoiding processed food. Aim for a diet that is about 75% plant based with 25% high quality proteins. And managing stress, try to maintain a positive attitude, build a good support system, seek professional help when needed. Meditation, other tools like the Muse or the Heart Math can really help you evaluate how your body is responding to stress, and meditation as well. Those are my two favorite things. And remember that stress is not caused by situations, it's caused by how we react to those situations. So, evaluating how you react, what your emotional state is, will help you focus in on creating other tools to help manage stress. All right, number 6, know your triggers and redirect. So, when our mind is full of conflicting thoughts and emotions, it is hard to do anything in a deliberate or straightforward way. It's like trying to drive a bus when all the passengers are trying to cram into the driver's seat while arguing where to go, right? So, maintaining a calm environment when eating is really important. So, that's the external environment. And then internal is about your thoughts and your feelings. So, recognizing and acknowledge as a thought. Not every thought needs to be translated into an action. Feelings, allow yourself to feel emotions without acting on it, let it pass. And physiological, so are you hungry? Are you fatigued? Are you energetic and you're excited or high and high on life and you're ready to go do things? Like, really figure out what triggers you and redirect on that. And having a redirect will help encourage mindful eating. So, if your goal was to make a healthy snack for dessert, but the only thing in pantry is cookies, having another snack option available for redirect might be really, really helpful for you. So, this takes a lot of planning when you get started before you find what you can redirect emotionally and with food, right? All right, so number 7, embrace healthy eating, in quotes, and manage your expectations, okay? So ask yourself, what are you asking your food to do for you? Are you asking it to comfort you? Are you fueling your body with nutrition and nourishing it? Are you using food to prevent disease, or are you using it to entertain yourself? So, our goal is to nourish our bodies while enjoying the food that we are eating. Now, food has only one goal really for us, and that is to provide nourishment for our cells, our organs, everything, so we can live a healthy life, enjoy it, have energy, and feel good. Food is not always sexy. It's not always pretty. It's not always glamorous. It doesn't always taste good, right? Chicken and rice might not be your thing, but if it's what you need to eat to give your body the nutrition and support that it needs, then that's what you need to do. So think about this when you're trying to look at different meal plans or diet styles or eating styles, and what are you trying to get out of this when we're take weight loss off the table completely and look at everything else that's going on in your life, inflammation, pain, disease, symptoms, all of it. And really that's where we can come and address our healthy eating with. Okay. Number 8, common beliefs about cooking healthy. So it takes a lot of time, right? But it doesn't have to. It can, but it doesn't have to. So planning is key. Another one I hear is it takes skill. Like, I can't cook, I don't know what to do. And it takes some, right? But basic skills can create great meals. You don't have to be a master chef to create a great meal. Some people say it's hard to make food taste good, which it's true. Like I just said, not all food is meant to be glamorous or home runs. And it's okay to appreciate food for what it is and draw in on that intention. I am notorious for cooking a meal and being super excited about it. Like, I made homemade orange chicken and I made everything from scratch and I had like 8 oranges in the thing. And I was like, this is it. This is the recipe. And I pulled the chicken out, set it down. We all took a bite into it and it tasted like plain chicken. Like, I poured my heart and soul into it. And I was so disappointed. And my family was so gracious and they were like, it's okay. We can taste a little bit. This is great. Thank you for cooking dinner. So really it became about we're still eating healthy. I had a good time preparing it and my family had a good laugh at my expense again. And it's okay. So you don't have to make it perfect. You don't have to make it restaurant quality, Gordon Ramsay quality. Okay. Another thing I hear is that it's expensive to make healthy food. And it can and it can't be, right? It just depends. And it's a lot less expensive than buying pre-made. and it's a lot less expensive for your health to change the way that you eat. And some people say it requires a 5-star kitchen with a well-stocked pantry. Like, I don't have anything that everybody else has. And it really doesn't. And you don't need fancy equipment. You can get away without having the big expensive tools or the $1,000 frying pan set. Okay. Another thing that we talk about with cooking healthy is being a nutritional gatekeeper of your kitchen zones. So, decisions about what to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks are mainly determined by what foods the grocery shopper, aka the nutritional gatekeeper, brings into the house. So, it's really easy to stop yourself, especially in the family, from eating a bunch of junk if you just don't bring it into your house. And maybe that means you go grocery shopping, or maybe that means somebody else goes grocery shopping. Because if you're the kind of person who ends up in the grocery store and comes home with 10 packs of Oreo cookies, maybe grocery shopping is not your job because it's too much pressure to try and find things healthy, and it's too much pressure to avoid the traps that we fall into. And then we have motivation, preparation, and execution. So if you have the motivation to eat healthier, find good resources that consider your comfort level in the kitchen and execute some simple recipes to start. So we're going to skip the cooking demonstration. Sorry. Maybe in the future that would be great, right? So we're going to skip ahead to goal setting. So what do you have to do? So once behavior changes are identified, set goals, something that you can do, not give up, and determine what it looks like for you. So start at a level you're comfortable with. So if the ultimate goal is to batch cook lunches for 1 week, put it in the fridge and take it to the work every day, or make extra dinner servings to pack for lunch the next day, your desirable goal might be to prepare lunch the night before to take to work 3 times a week. And then a minimal goal would be to select healthy lunch from the food court at work. And honestly, this will be up and down, right? Some weeks you're going to be on it, and some weeks you're going to be like, okay, what's the healthiest choice I can make to eat out at Panera's and get a salad or something like that? Okay. Refer to the behavioral food and behavioral change objectives found in your packet. And then one strategy you can use to create enjoy meals that encourage mindful eating, that pause, and that hunger scale. So maybe if you print out your guide that's in our group, you can pick out what works best for you and try everything. Give it a few days. I would encourage you to not do something once and say, oh, that didn't work for me. Like, give it 3 days, a week, and just try it, track it, give yourself that challenge to do that. Okay. So let me see here. So we talked about goals. I think so, because we're going to skip the food demonstration and all of those things, we are complete with our mindful eating masterclass. So if this is something that you're struggling with, especially with trying to figure out what foods to eat, what foods work for your body, do you have food sensitivities, what's going on, you can schedule a free health assessment to review your goals, your habits, and choose a program that works best for you. So here's all of my information. You can schedule online at littleblackbagmedicine.com. Shoot me an email or find me on Facebook. And for the rest of the month, we're going to dive deeper into these toolkits and these questions and provide you with some more resources so you can continue to eat mindfully and support your healthy lifestyle. So I'm going to check. I don't see any extra questions. So if you have questions about this, let me know. Let me know what's going on for you, and we can brainstorm together. So I appreciate you being here and working through my technical difficulties with me. And we will see you in the rest of the month. All right. Thanks, everybody, for being here.